Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Monday's here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. So thank you. Going to get started here in a moment, but if you could please drop that like, drop that follow on this YouTube channel, as well as my Rumble / American Anchor Baby, and Twitter, all that. Again, it's nice to have you all here. Nice weekend. I see you all in chat. Very nice. A little late. It's the Mexican in me. I can't help it. That's not a good excuse. But we do have a show today. There's a little bit of that N-word talk kind of spilled over into my show from the Hake Report. I have a little bit of a clip to open up. And then we'll get into some of this border mess, because it is the topic a little bit. Title 42 ended. Where this is supposed to be pandemonium, right? So we'll get a little update on that, as well as some social engineering, more social engineering being done by these beer companies. I'm doing a little signal boosting. You'll have to forgive me, but I'm signal boosting a little bit, but it fits the show. So we'll talk about that, as well as maybe we'll even get into some other interesting stuff, a little bit more fun, and your calls, 888-775-3773. How you guys doing? So, like I said, some of this N-word talk, when can you say it? Should you be allowed? Is it a fighting word? Well, end wokeness. Woke. I'm so tired of hearing that. But end wokeness on Twitter shared this video, okay? It's a TikTok video. This man, he's doing a man on the street interview, and he meets this young lady, and he asks her a question about, would you say the N-word to end world hunger? Would you say the N-word to end world hunger?
Would you say the N-word to end world hunger?
Would I say no? I don't know. To end it? Oh gosh. I would have to. Well, no. If I had a poll and everybody came together and gave me permission.
I think hungry people would definitely give you permission.
No, it can't be the hungry people. It's got to be the people who will be affected by the word.
So the hungry people are pretty affected by it because a lot of hungry people are from Africa and they tend to be black.
Yeah, it's social media, so I can't give you a solid answer.
So you wouldn't say it to end world hunger?
With permission, I would. It's contingent.
Who do you need permission from?
The people who would be affected.
Okay, silly. Right away you think, wow, how far have we gone? How crazy can people be to not want to end world hunger over saying the N-word? And so that's clear, and that could be your first take. You watch that and that's what you're thinking, but it's not that. It's really not that. That's not what's really going on here. She kind of alluded to it by saying it's social media, so I can't really give you a straight answer. Because as illogical as the world may be becoming, as crazy as people might be, believing the craziest things, conspiracy theories like the existence of racism, for example, despite all that, people still have like a self-preservation instinct, okay? And people can see what's going on. Average college normie girls can see the militant censoring of dissent, the cancel culture. Should you say the wrong thing, simply disagree, or even show support, halfway support for sensible things. Regular normies, average people, they know this. They know this to a deep level. And so you could say, wow, you're not going to say the N word. When it's obvious, most people would. She's not really, I find it hard to believe that she would really believe that. No, it's self-preservation. It's self-preservation, and she knows it. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows you can't say certain things. Everybody knows you can't disagree with certain groups and ideas. This is a known thing. So I found that video striking for that reason. That she seems like just kind of like an average person, not politically involved, just on the street near a college, like some kind of university or college thing. Everybody knows. So I found that somewhat interesting. And a little bit of that, that N-word talk that spilled over. It really isn't the word. It's the cultural implication and the effect it'll have on your social standing and all that. Sensible people terrorized into agreeing with lies, essentially, to go along with the group, to get along. Emblematic video. I thought it was a little interesting. And I see your calls coming in. I will get to you. Thank you for your calls. So a little bit of that. Just a little video there. But let's get into the news here. Because, of course, I was talking about the border. But, the border. It sometimes seems like a slogfest getting through the news a little bit. But we got some news this morning, right? We got some news. The first little bit of news I saw, scrolling through, putting together this show, I saw this thing on the Biden administration. Basically, well, the New York officials basically removing homeless veterans from these hotels to make way for the migrants, they call them. They call them migrants, these illegal aliens who've come in and are being bussed around on taxpayer dime after breaking the law and coming in for a better life, they say. Well, there's this story that came out. Do I got it here? Anyways, there's this story here. And so these, like I said, these homeless veterans who were in this hotel for temporary housing, basically. The story goes basically that these veterans, they ended up calling this foundation, the Israel Tony Foundation, Yerrick Israel Tony Foundation, okay? And they called them after these veterans called this foundation for help after they were informed that they were being removed from this hotel. Now, although they were not explicitly told it was due to the migrants, the timing is suspect, right? The timing is suspect as these migrants, they call them, came in, these veterans got to go out. And so looking into the story a little bit, it seemed like, okay, well, they found housing for the veterans, though. It was a little bit of a scramble, but they ended up finding housing. But looking into the story a little bit more, I find that the veterans had to call a separate organization. So it wasn't Eric Adams or New York officials who helped them in this scramble to find new housing. They were just told, you got to get out. And it coincides right as soon as Title 42 ends and as soon as all these illegals started getting bussed into this hotel in particular, as well as others. And it's crazy, too, in this article you see at this very same hotel, it looks like American citizens, and I don't have the picture for you. My apologies, but it's this picture of this, you have to assume is an American citizen holding a sign outside of this hotel that says, immigrants make great Americans like you and me. He's part of a welcoming party, like a welcoming party there at at the Crossroads Hotel in New York, Newburgh, New York, to welcome in the invaders. Which is its own thing too. It's your that's what makes the situation in America so a little bit more complicated, because it's your own neighbors pitted against you. And you can't really judge them because so many are brainwashed, repeating things they heard on the TV, and they believe they believe they're coming from a place of love. They believe they're doing the right thing, like most people are. So that's wild, right? Your own neighbors pitted against you. But it's still, the question remains, does the American public really want this by and large? And so I see this story with the homeless veterans, right? And I used to ponder a little bit on this whole immigration thing, and I would see the stories of these illegals being bussed around, put in nice hotels. And I thought, well, okay, they have to do that. They got to treat him nicely because, you know, partly they're in agreement with basically open borders. But partly it's also PR and they have to look right. But then this story with the homeless veterans, it made me really consider something. Because, like I said, my previous thought about it was, well, it's what they had to do to look right, you know, public relations and all that, the media. But seeing this, I realized another thing, which is not groundbreaking, but something I was pondering this morning, that not only does it look bad if you leave all these illegals on the streets and, right, like it's not politically expedient to be leaving them out there. It's actually also not politically, you know, positive to help out these veterans, to help out so-called, you know, these homeless veterans going through issues. You see what I'm saying here? What I'm trying to describe is how public perception, the media, and everything has made it basically strategically unviable to have a headline connected to you saying that you help veterans over illegals, that you help, you see what I'm saying here? Because that's been the strategy for basically the past few years, to subliminally connect patriots, people who have a nationalistic attitude, who want America first. It's been the strategy for those, you know, for Democrats and rhinos to, like I said, connect make that subliminal connection between patriots and nationalists and people who care about America and violent people, white, racist. You see what I'm saying here? We saw that with the whole, what was his name? Mauricio Garcia, that shooter in Allen, Texas, calling him a white supremacist Mexican, the Mexican face of white supremacy or whatever. Because that is the strategy here. That connection between the MAGA Republicans and basically immigrant-hating extremism and all that. That's been the strategy. So kind of what I thought about. So anyways, Title 42, right? It's kind of been the talk a little bit. Title 42, that emergency health authority, Trump-era policy, which allowed the U.S. officials to turn away illegals who came to the U.S. on the grounds of preventing COVID-19 from spreading, right? And which is an interesting point in and of itself. What was required to just start dealing with the issue of illegal immigration, we needed like what they called a global pandemic, a shutdown of the economy. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous that was needed to convince lawmakers, Congress, like what? convince Trump's own Republican GOP that was around him to start dealing with illegal immigration. That's what it took. So Title 42 ended Thursday, I believe, midnight, okay? And remember this. It was media outcry, left and right. We got AP articles. We got Fox articles. We got both sides saying chaos is coming. The Biden administration saying brace for impact. Do you remember this? Biden admin tells Americans to brace for border chaos. Okay, that was the Biden administration. Remember this? Remember there was a countdown on Fox. There was a little in the corner. There was a little countdown saying 1 day, 4 hours away from Title 42 ending. Pandemonium's coming. Migrants flooding in, and we even saw this thanks to Sean, JLP producer. Remember, we saw migrants saying, I'm using their language now, migrants. We saw these illegals. It's illegal. They say, what are you going to do about it? It's illegal. Trump. But we saw these illegals admitting that, yeah, we're coming because we heard Title 42 is ending.
Were you aware of Title 42 and that they were going to open the border like before the pandemic?
Sí, también.
Por eso viniste, that's why you came?
Claro, igual que mucha gente.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Gracias, muchas gracias y suerte con tu viaje.
He says the reporter didn't translate the last thing this illegal person said. He said, yeah, like many others. Okay, he asked him, you're coming because of Title 42? He said, yes, like many others. Like many others. We saw all this on the run-up to the end of Title 42, right? And so here's Monday morning, the weekend passed. What's the update, y'all? Let's go. Pandemonium, give me the images, give me the clips. But apparently, everything's fine. Crickets at the border. Maybe I'm exaggerating. They didn't say crickets, but Mayorkas, Alejandro Mayorkas, and Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, basically saying it's fine.
How do you think things are going at the border, sir?
Much better than you all expected.
In fact, over the past 2 days, the United States Border Patrol has seen an approximately 50% drop in the number of people encountered at our southern border as compared to the numbers earlier this week before Title 42 came to an end midnight on Thursday. As a matter of fact, we've already removed thousands of people.
Wow. Great job. They're killing it. Remember, they said it was going to be horrible, and it's only halfway horrible. 50% down. They're doing a great job. They got us all riled up for nothing. Oh, well, there you go. That's a weight off my shoulders. I was worried there for a second. In fact, they even have photos of the border. This was the border. Oh, I ruined it. I gave you guys the punchline. It was this photo I was going to show you first. This was the supposed border 24 hours before Title 42 ended. What a mess. Look at this line of over 300 people, the caption said. And now today, or Friday, or pretty much after Title 42 ended, empty. Thanks, Biden. I knew you would save America. And let me just pull this article up. Yeah, Joe Biden cheering a drop in the border crossings. Asked over the weekend about it. He said, much better than you all expected. Spoke about the reduced number of crossings, which are down about 50%, according to them. Looking relatively clear, according to the Daily Mail. His remark came after Vice President Kamala Harris said at a fundraiser that things were going rather smoothly, despite problems with processing and border state governors busing migrants to northern cities. Yeah, everything's going smoothly, but yeah, that's still happening. Passing on administrative headaches to those jurisdictions. Man, what a headache. The destruction of America can really be such a headache. So much paperwork. Border Patrol agents have seen a 50% drop in the number of migrants crossing from Mexico into the U.S. since Title 42 expired at midnight Thursday. Numbers had surged during the run-up to the end of the pandemic-era restriction, topping more than 10,000 a day. But as they make way through the system, some new migrants are being given court dates far into the future. So here's where you start, maybe the mask starts slipping. The seams start coming undone a little bit. Because in the very same article, where everything was fine, we learn about these court dates far into the future. Washington Examiner saying court dates for some as far as 10 years before they can see a judge. And maybe if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's pretty much the MO of American immigration policy, illegal immigration policy. It's if you make it here, if you cross, and it's not that hard to do that. Remember, they didn't build a wall. They made it hard to do that. If you cross over, you could just call base. You'd be like, home base. You can't, base. You can't touch me. You can't do anything to me. I call base. What game was that? I know it's like a childhood playground game. Tag? If you get to base, they can't tag you. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're deported. Well, they call base, and then they get processed. They go through some paperwork or whatever, and then they're given a court date. They're released into the country illegally as an illegal immigrant, and then they're given a court date. And they say, well, all right, well, here's a pat on the back. Go on, future American, and come back and see me in a few years. I know you broke the law. We'll deal with that in a few years. And I'm sure you'll show up, right? I'm sure you'll show up, and we'll do everything nice to the book, right? Of course not, right? That's not what happens. Commonly, these people don't show up for court dates, and they remain here, having a bunch of anchor babies. Anchor babies. But yeah, take this in. It all comes amid a backlog in court cases of a stunning 2 million. If that's the backlog of court cases, 2 million. I mean, just consider numbers here for a second. How long have you guys been hearing 11 million, 22 million? For me, that's the number I've been hearing for a while. I heard it before it was 11. And then it was like, okay, actually the estimate is 22. And I've been hearing 22 for a long time. So it's obviously much higher than 22 million illegals in this country. And they have 2 million. Only 2 million court cases in backlog. Yeah, they're not trying to deal with this. Either I think it's more likely they just can't. There's literally no logistics in place to deal with this and deal with the backlog and make sure it's being kept up with and make sure that these people arrive to their court dates and all that. There's literally nothing in place, no infrastructure in place. I don't think any country really has the infrastructure in place to let in 3 million people a year. 3 million. That's almost the size of the city of LA, no? Like just the city. Anyways, experts, we got something from the experts here. Experts said they believed migrants and people smuggling gangs were trying to get grips with the new set of immigration policies. Oh, see, that starts to make a little bit more sense. That might make a little bit more sense. You see, there's money involved in this whole thing on many sides. Money, money, money. Starting with these coyotes, these gangs, usually cartels and other things and other Latin American gangs, all the way from Mexico down into the tip of South America at the bottom tip. You got these gangs who have created pathways to America because it's a lucrative business. These gangs have created pathways, worked with each other to create routes and channels for moving large amounts of people. And of course, they get paid by those people. There's a fee. There's a fee. You pay the coyotes and they'll help you through. They'll get you to base, right? Then you can call base. But of course, they're businessmen. These cartels, they're business owners. They're businessmen, business owners. They got to watch out for their bottom line. And if the industry is evolving, such as Title 42 ending, the industry is evolving, they must evolve too. So you can see that maybe these experts, they might not be that far away from the truth. We will see what happens, right? We'll see if that 50% is really true. Mayorkas, as you saw in that clip, he went on to say in that clip, we have communicated very clearly a vitally important message to the individuals who are thinking of arriving at our southern border there is a lawful, safe, and orderly way to arrive in the United States. And that is through the pathways that President Biden has expanded in an unprecedented way. And this is kind of really the point here, because I'm being sarcastic and it's like funny and silly. These people are saving the country when we know they're not. And consider the 50% number. 50% of 500,000 is still 250,000 people if we go with a high number of crossers per month. Let's go with 250,000. Half of that is still 125,000, okay? Every month, still not doable. No, that's still trends towards destruction of America, okay? Displacement of Americans, replacement of demographics of white Americans, all of that. So your little 50% reduction number is just a pressure release, you know? You know what I'm saying? The media gets you all riled up like chaos is coming. Oh, actually, things are going much better than expected. 50% down. Am I being a conspiracy theorist here? And here's the second thing. Mayorkas says there's a lawful way to get here through the pathways that Biden has expanded. And here's the other point here. Because I'm seeing like a big game, a big trick here. Let me know if you guys see what I'm seeing here. Okay? Because I welcome correction. Okay? If I'm being crazy, correct me. 888-775-3773. But this whole Title 42 illegal immigration fight, as wrong as illegal immigration is, it's something that should be exposed and dealt with. That's the illegal immigration is just like, I want to say symptom, or I want to say, yeah, it's just like a symptom or secondary to the bigger issue here. Because Mayorkas, Biden, the Democrats who are bringing in these voters, as we've seen, this is as we've seen how these naturally conservative immigrants apparently come here and just vote Democrat all the way through. They're basically importing more of their own voters. We see Biden, all these people, they don't care if it's legal or illegal. And in fact, they would rather it be legal because then they won't have to deal with all these Republicans decrying illegal immigration. But the other side of this trick is that all the people fighting against the illegal immigration and calling it out and saying it's horrible, they get like, I guess maybe it's the excitement of the topic, debating hard on the topic, maybe the anger, maybe they're emotionally invested. They're not seeing, and I'm talking about right-wing people, a lot of people in the conservative movement. They stop right there. They're like, no, we need to stop illegal immigration because it's illegal. It's illegal. But no. It's a little bit deeper than that. It's not about stopping illegal immigration because it's just wrong. Like, that is just wrong. But you want to stop illegal immigration because they're bringing in all these people that are displacing Americans here. These these illegals come here. They have 3, 4, 5 anchor babies that then grow up and become voters and vote against the Americans here. Then good luck, getting any political cohesion to do the work to get rid of them, deport them. Good luck. So you see what I'm saying here? It's not like just that it's illegal immigration. It's that it's immigration at all. And at this level. If it wasn't so psychopathically towards, if these people handling the border and the government weren't so psychopathically against America and so gung-ho for its destruction, then maybe we could talk about, okay, a sensible amount of immigration. Okay? I say, I don't know. I've thought about this for a while, and it doesn't sound like immigration at all quite makes sense, Like you're from somewhere because you're from somewhere. Make that place better. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds funny for me. I'm an anchor baby, but it remains true. So don't get that. That's I think that's a trick. Get you all riled up about illegal immigration when the topic is about all of it. It is related to, demographics, to race. As unimportant as identity and race is to your daily life and how you treat people, and the evils of the heart has nothing to do with your skin color, as much as that may be. Enemies of America are using race, though. They are using it, like, for example, by making you believe in racism, or by bringing in a bunch of people that are not you to change America. Bring in chaos, division, and a bunch of Democratic voters. It sounds crazy. It sounds conspiratorial. It sounds wild, but that's what's happening right now before us. And these psychopaths gleefully talk about demographic change and how it changes the votes and how we're going to bring in a progressive world thanks to the POCs. They talk about it openly. But here's another thing, too. So there's your little, that's kind of like your little surface update. If you kind of scroll down the news aggregates, look at Fox News for a little bit. Oh, well, it seems like it might be better than expected. But not exactly so. Just kind of diving a little deeper, we see there's issues in El Paso. There's this story of migrants being bussed out, apparently right outside her home. And I've talked about like stunts, these political stunts of busing migrants and all that, busing illegals. And I've talked about those stunts, like Abbott sending them up to New York and stuff, and how I find it like kind of cringy because it's accepting immigrants, really. It's accepting these illegals and saying, well, we'll just bus them somewhere else, which is what the government has been doing. Why not totally repel them? But it also, I got to say, I must admit, there is something delicious. And I'm not reveling. Calm down with any reveling. I don't wish harm on people. But there's something delicious about someone like Kamala, an elite, pushing these open borders, having those illegals show up to their doorstep, having to stay in their backyard. There's something delicious about that. I haven't seen if Kamala has said anything about that. But it'd be funny if there's a clip out there of her saying, no, they can't be around here. Take them somewhere else. There was a recent story, too. Wasn't there like a liberal town? Was it Martha's Vineyard? It was like a liberal town. They received a bunch of illegals, and they were just appalled. They were like, heck no. I believe the area was full of Biden voters. But once they got the illegals at their doorstep and their backyards, they were like, no, take them to, I said, of course I love illegals. Yeah, open borders. But no, not my home. Not saying anything groundbreaking, but there's something delicious about that. Anyways, Texas apparently sending a third convoy of migrants. Third convoy of migrants to Kamala Harris's D.C. home as shelters in state overflow. So everything's not hunky-dory like they say. That's a lot of, you seeing what I'm seeing right now? I got a video, no sound video on screen right now of a way overflowed, like just way too, way overpacked, so-called migrant housing place or whatever, shelter, where they'll be processed, they're given food, whatever, different things, shelter. So it doesn't look hunky-dory, y'all. Migrants can be seen packed into an overflowing Texas processing center in a shocking footage that lays bare the spiraling southern border crisis, splitting America at the seams. Wow. Hard-hitting reporting from Daily Mail. And anytime I see these things, too, these scenes of the overflowing packed rooms, I'll hear Republicans, conservatives say, look how horrible they're being treated. This is horrible. How can you treat them like this? How can Democrats be okay with the treatment of these people like this way? And I laugh because it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm mean. Maybe I'm mean, y'all, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't wish harm on them, but they asked for this life. They came here legally for the honey of America. So I don't feel bad. They should leave. Go back. But maybe being packed like sardines in that room is still better. For them. Kind of a now when you see it that way, you see it's quite selfish. Bunch of single men in a big room, happy that they're getting free stuff. Quite selfish. So everything's not hunky-dory with the border. But that's the report on Title 42 and a little bit of the pressure release going on with the media, in my opinion. Where's the panic? Where's the pandemonium? But remember, this is like, I've said it before, not trying to fear-monger, but it's existential. That's why I say we need Trump. Because this is like one of those, if it doesn't get dealt with now, it's over kind of things. And it feels like there's a lot of things in politics that feel that way. Don't you? Don't you think? On this, though, on the migrants, where was it? Check this out. I just came across this story. Russia to build migrant village for conservative American expats. For people trying to escape the woke America. Russian authorities will launch construction of a village outside Moscow for conservative-minded Americans and Canadians next year, the state-run news agency reported Thursday. Russia has for years positioned itself as a bastion of traditional values in contrast with Western liberalism. As its relations with the West have deteriorated, speak English. A migration lawyer for Moscow's Vista Foreign Business Support claimed that around 200 families wish to emigrate to Russia for ideological reasons. Wow. The reason is propaganda of radical values. Today they have 70 genders, and who knows what will come next, is this migration lawyer is quoted, echoing Vladimir Putin's frequently deployed grievances against Western countries. I'll read a little bit more of this. Many normal people emigrate and are considering Russia, but they're faced with huge bureaucratic problems with Russia's migration law. Let me warn you guys, Russia, I get it. Very interesting, kind of cool. Look, you guys are very funny. This woke America. You guys probably have a bunch of people that want to leave. Come here. Come to Russia. Come to Mother Russia, where we don't do that crazy stuff. We love families or whatever. We're Christian, unlike you. So I get it, Russia. But this little line here, many normal people emigrate and are considering Russia, but are faced with huge bureaucratic problems. Let me just warn you, Russians, okay? That sentence right there sounds a lot like sentences I've heard before. Oh, Republicans make it very difficult for immigrants, bureaucratic problems. Maybe that's not so bad, Russia. Making it difficult, bureaucratic problems. I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe it'll be positive for you guys to loosen it. But let me just warn you guys. It's a cute move, but be careful. All right? I don't know maybe you should learn from America. That's division amongst peoples, different races, different people, different religions, too many different people, you might have a problem on your hands, okay? You don't want to import the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. They say they want conservative American expats. So you probably get a good sample of the American people if you go that route. And if you see it that way, well, then Russia is pilfering, or at least is trying to pilfer the best of the best, the cream of the crop from America. And they know it. Conservative American expats get to Russia. Yeah, I wonder what Moscow's like. Do they have child, am I allowed to say tranny? Does Russia have child transgenders? I think that would be an interesting marker of society and quality of life and morality, I think. Excuse me, sir, do you have child transgenders where you come from? Oh, you do? Okay, well, goodbye. So that's the thing on the border. That's the little report there. We got some fun stuff to get into. I got an interesting video. Happened on a bus, a school bus. It struck me a little bit. Maybe all the mama came out of me with this video. But we're going to get into it, as well as some other topics. But first, I have a call. Frederick, Los Angeles. Thank you for your call. Go ahead.
How's it going, Nick?
Sup, Frederick? Thanks for your call.
All right. I wanted to talk about immigration.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Yep. I called Hank earlier, but I guess you're the spokesperson for immigration.
Oh, yeah. Setting all immigration policy.
Do you think, let me ask you a question about seeding, all right?
About what?
And if you're planting a seed.
Oh, you said seeding?
Yes, seeding.
I'm sorry, still not getting it. Are you saying seeding, like planting a seed?
Yes.
Okay, what's your question? Go ahead.
All right. Do you think it's better if you want something to grow, is it better to plant it deep in the soil or just barely on the surface?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds... I'm going to assume deep in the soil.
Correct. And these Texas people think they smart by sending them deep into the soil of America where they can grow their roots and start growing as anchor babies or whatever.
Yeah.
When you can keep them on the border if you're going to return them. It used to be like white people would be like, hey, don't come in my state with that crap. Or they'd be like, don't come in my city with that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't come in my neighborhood with that crap. Now it's don't come on my property with that crap. And they don't care about the rest of the world. They're getting smaller and smaller. And they don't really care about their neighborhood as long as their property's not getting dealt with or whatever. So what it's coming down to, I'm thinking with immigration, is that the Federal Reserve needs these Social Security numbers because it's going broke. And they print money due to the people that they have, assets as in slaves when our dollar don't mean anything. We need people.
Interesting,
so
yeah.
Blacks is cool with
like
not
the way a
being the
Ponzi
bottom.
scheme works, like the way a pyramid.
Exactly.
You need more people at the bottom to the support at the top
Exactly.
to keep it going.
Exactly.
It makes
black
sense,
people
Fred. Can I respond to? I'll let you say that.
Okay,
I don't want to get too bogged down. I want to respond to some of the things you said.
All right, go ahead.
Because it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
You've pretty much crystallized. You crystallized what I wanted to say about this busing stuff. Abbott and people busing them up. They're literally, like you said, they're busing them in the heart of America, allowing them to take root, and meanwhile yucking it up, saying, "Yeah, we got those Democrats.
Yeah.
We got them. Take that, Democrats." That's a really good point, man.
Two wings of the same bird. They're two wings. Republicans. They both in the same bed together, and Americans blind by this type of wars. It's crazy.
You say close it up?
Close up what? The border?
Yes, sir.
This God's plan. What I say don't even matter. Really, it's all going to play out how it's going to play out.
But like, what do you? For funsies, just for fun, you say close it up or no?
Yes, I'll say let's close it up.
All right,
Actually,
Frederick.
I'm to the point to where
we'll at least be brothers in arms in that point, right? Okay, sorry. Go on. What were you saying? You said you had another point.
Even to the point that they know that the day is going to come to where we get so sufficient that there's going to be a president that really rounds them up and starts sending them back.
You think that'll happen?
Yeah, they got Stockholm syndrome. The Republicans, they have Mexicans that Uncle Tom's too, shut the door on them after they got in because they came under a Republican. And if you come in the country as a Mexican under a Republican, you're like, I'm a Republican. I got into this country because of this president. But it's really Stockholm syndrome. You just falling in love. And then they come in under Biden, and they're like, all right, yeah, go Biden.
So
really,
you're saying...
two birds
You're saying, but no, right, two birds are the same way. I got to say I agree, but you're saying about these Mexicans or whatever who come into the country.
Yeah, some of them are common, like you.
Right.
Like,
right.
Why you
they
want to
come
shut
in
the door on your own kind?
So is that what you're saying? You're saying that those people are shutting the door on their own kind? Because I say America should retroactively remove citizenships like such as mine. So
yeah, I'll tell you what you're saying, but you know you got grandfathered in.
I know, but
you know your grandfathered in.
What does that mean?
They're not going to just snatch citizenship from the people who have citizenship.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that, and I'm not shy about saying. I know it's no. Because I know people have said that too before. It's like, oh yeah, well you don't really think that's going to happen, so it's easy for you to say that. But I'm quite serious about that.
It is. I agree.
And here's another thing though. I've heard this before, this topic before on what's it called? Shutting the door on your own people.
That's what.
But that's besides the point, though. That's besides the point. Is it right or wrong?
Is it right or wrong?
Yeah, illegal immigration, and even all this unfettered legal immigration. Is it right or wrong? What's going on?
And once you understand how the system works, to sustain the system, you understand that it's right.
Okay, but I don't want to get lost here because I don't want to get lost here. I don't want to get lost here, Frederick, because it seems like whenever that conversation is brought up, it's a way of softly justifying like illegals. What are you saying here when you say when you talk about?
It ain't gonna.
Well, hold on. No. Don't bring up something else. What are you saying when you bring up this whole grandfathered in thing? Are you saying I'm a hypocrite? What are you getting at?
Yeah, that's pretty much hypocritical.
Oh yeah, and how so?
Because if they gotta go to court in 2 years, the illegals that come over here, they get a citation. You can have 2 babies in 2 years, show up in front of a judge with 2 anchor babies, and they're going to deport you and the anchor babies as legal citizens? No, they're not going to do that. They're going to assign you a social.
Well, you don't know that, but I can see what you're saying.
Yes, it's the Catholic Church. They all go to the Catholic Church.
So then what do you suggest I do?
Yes, listen.
What do you suggest I do? I get Are you saying I should be? Are you saying I should get emotional and be like, well, yeah, I am being hypocritical. You know what? You're wrong. You know what? You're wrong. I'm wrong. We should have open borders. I can't deny.
No, the Catholic Church goes down there and they charity.
And that's not good. But that's another different topic. I'm asking you a question. What do you suggest I do?
I'm saying it's enough Earth planet for everybody to really have.
No, what I'm saying is that there's a right and a wrong, okay? That's that simple. So I don't care about your identity. I don't care about your situation. I don't care if you have an anchor baby or if you have an anchor baby friend or anchor baby or you are an anchor baby. I don't care if your friend or your sister is gay. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
true. You don't have to get emotional. You don't have to get emotional and be like, you know what, I'm being a hypocrite.
Listen, when they set the rules with banning alcohol, if you made it to this border of another state, you was free.
Say that again.
Even if the police are chasing you. When they was running alcohol, if you made it to the border with this alcohol, you was free.
Wait, I'm lost. What are you saying? You said I ran to the border with alcohol?
Yes. Back when they was running alcohol, if you make it across this little city line, you was free. Like, okay, they can't chase you into that. So even within this own state, they had, whereas if you come over here and have your baby, you made it legal. I mean, it's legal. I mean, that was the laws that they set in place. So don't say that they're not going to try to get over here to play by the loopholes that they set in play that's legal. There's legal laws for a reason, and there's going to be people trying to benefit from it. So you can't blame the people trying to jump the fence to drop a baby and say it's illegal.
Why not?
Of course it's illegal.
Why can't you blame them?
Because there's legal laws that let you stay.
That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it right or okay, though.
The legal laws makes it right.
Look, if you're saying you understand why it happens because they're incentivized by the government, well, yeah, that's true. But then you hold on. Frederick, hold on. But you can't. But you're going farther and saying, you can't blame them. No, you're going too far. You can understand the situation. Yeah, they're incentivized, but you can still lay blame where it's supposed to lay. The government's wrong for incentivizing it, and these people are wrong for trying to abuse it.
I'm just watching it happen. I'm not really trying to pick sides. I can see why it's happening. I can see how they're going to deal with it. God is going to bring forth president maybe in 20 years that can deal with it. But right now, all we can do is not get mad and show our horns and get angry.
True.
Either you're going to let them go. It seems like their anger is making them make the worst moves by putting them deep into America. You know what I'm saying?
Whose anger is making them do the wrong thing?
I'm going to send you to the gardens up north. And
Frederick.
you're hurting yourself.
Whose anger is causing them to do wrong?
Republicans on the border. They're sending busloads up north, and it's backfiring, and it's like not working to their advantage.
No, I agree, man. That makes a lot of sense. You know, these people are just not. They're not on. It doesn't seem like they're on the American public side.
That's how God works. You try to do something evil, and then something good come out of it. And next thing you know, these Mexicans are seeing part of New York and Manhattan that they ain't never seen before, and they like, oh yeah, I'm drawing pictures and showing that my art can turn into this, and then it's showing this part of the world we ain't all bad. Now you got Mexican guilt, white guilt, Mexican guilt, all that breeds love. So I like love. Don't you like love, Nick?
Man, Frederick, you like
Do you like
to
love?
say a lot. You say a lot of. I was following you up until a moment ago, and I've already spent too much time with you. Hold on, man. You're saying all this stuff that didn't even make sense. You said something about Mexican guilt. Do you like love? You gotta be clear, man. Because it sounds like you're just coming on my show to just say things. You don't even want to talk to me. You
No, they garden that they sent.
You don't want to talk to me. You want to just put out. You just want to put out these thoughts you have in your head. Have you considered starting your own YouTube channel, Frederick? Because it doesn't sound like you want to talk to me.
Yes, I do, and it was the immigration thing.
All right, Frederick, take care.
To talk to Hake about, but
call me again, Frederick. I already spent too much time with you.
Sure will.
Take care. All right, cool. Kind of interesting. I enjoyed it, but I got lost. Maybe it's not that he's trying to confuse me. Maybe I might be low IQ. I might be having a hard time following. I'll admit it. I'm not even being sarcastic. I might not know enough cultural stuff to understand references or what the heck he's talking about. So I got a super chat from DH, man. Thank you for your super chat. It says, on Friday was my first day catching Nick's stream on the flight. For real, DH? That's super cool. You've been watching the American Anchor Baby and super chatting, which I'm very grateful for. If anyone hasn't catched it, it's been a little sparse with my computer issues, but Friday we did a full-on Nick stream like we used to. It was great. We flew the plane. We did the topics. We had our fun. Thank you for catching that, DH. And of course, anybody who hasn't caught one of those streams, subscribe to me and just tune it. Make sure the little bell notification is turned on in case I do one of those. Want to do more of those. It's a fun time, okay? It's a good time. It's chill. It's pretty cool. So thank you for your support, DH. Much appreciated. We got more calls. I'm going to take one more call, and we'll do more topics. Art, Ohio, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
I'm fine, man. Thanks.
Hey, shout out to what's his name from last Friday? Hey, Zeus.
Oh yeah, Zeus. I believe it was just Zeus.
Zeus. Yeah. He needs to fire his friends or whatnot. Those ain't friends. They gonna get they send a little buddy into a burning building.
Oh, Zeus.
Second. Yeah. With the N-word, he said they gave the N-word pass.
Oh, yes, I totally remember that. Yeah, I totally remember that. He was saying that he had a friend that gave him an N-word pass. You're saying that's not very wise?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's got credentials. But he has credentials. Why would anybody be mad?
Yeah.
Of course I'm playing. I understand what you're saying. It might be unwise to go around saying that.
Nah, you good. You cool. Nah, you right. Nah, check this out though. Now you know how they used to say Bill Clinton. He's the first black president. That's what my mom's generation used to say back in the day when they was.
Is that true? Like, sorry to cut you off, but I'm not aware of this too much. I wasn't really paying attention back then. So I've heard that before though. Why do they call him the first black president?
Man, because they just thought everything that he did was like a black person. That's the liberals, man.
Gotcha.
They want to call everybody. Oh, he act black. Oh, he black. He cool. He can no, bro. No. No.
Gotcha,
Bill Clinton would have.
It was like a positive thing. They were trying to say it was a good thing, like he's really for us or whatever.
That ain't positive. If I was Bill Clinton, I would have felt offended because you know what I mean? Like, you should just like me for who I am, not that you try to, oh, he does black stuff. Oh, you on our side. No. Nah, that's some liberal nonsense, man. That's that old school liberal talk right there, man. Okay. But I guarantee you, let Bill Clinton went to one of them liberal black barbecues, and they got to saying that NIGG stuff at one of them barbecues. They'd have gave Bill Clinton a wedgie. He'd have one pair of leg on, no shoes, one sock, shirt ripped up. He'd look like he got in a fight with the Tasmanian devil.
So Clinton's not valid, is what you're saying?
Man, bro, that's a whole bunch of BS, man.
He can come to the cookout, but he can't say the N-word.
Bro, man, listen, go ahead and go to that cookout, man. Get this dropping the N-bomb. See, y'all think art, y'all like their art. He's at the gym trying to Royal Rumble with the people at the gym. No, man, no. Them over there on the liberals, you go win the barbecues and drop that N-bomb. You going to be looking about... You ain't gonna have no clothes. They're gonna have to donate you some clothes because they're gonna rip your clothes that you wearing up.
It's unwise. They would be wrong. They would be wrong to get angry over a silly word like that, but it would be unwise to say it. So I agree.
Facts. And then,
so yeah, you were called in about. Go ahead.
So Frederica said that he was sounding like Mama on the phone. He was sounding like Mama. He was sounding like a Dorito. He was sounding like an old school Dorito boy just now. Man, listen.
How so?
This is how you know that America. Take this analogy. Just say America is a house. Russia's one house. China's one house. Africa's one house. Like United Kingdom, all is one house. It needs to just don't look at it as like big landmass. If America was one house, can you imagine what we look like to like our neighbors? Like your woman don't listen in the house. She trying to turn your kids a different sex. She wants to abort babies. She's cool with making the taxes higher for your house where y'all paying. This is what America's doing to themselves. Can you imagine how the other people in these other places is looking at this house? The kids is hanging out the window.
Right.
The man in the house is smoking rock.
The woman's wearing The woman is wearing pantsuits and stomping all over the man, literally and figuratively.
Sleepy Joe's whole family is crackheads and fentanyl heads and stuff. Allegedly, that's what we think. And I don't know what he blowing out of his pipe. But yeah, so I'm just saying, just think about if you like another family looking at this American whole household family. Like, it ain't like a
dysfunctional.
I'm saying, yeah, it ain't functioning. And what I'm saying is that if it was a real man in America's house, it would have been like the party would have been over like a whole month ago. This party would have been over a whole year ago because Daddy shutting back doors. Ain't nobody coming in through the back or the front door. We going to sleep at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Everybody in the bed by 9 o'clock. Ain't no more parties over here. Y'all going. As a matter of fact, ain't no parties for this whole year. We in the house studying. That's we doing schoolwork for a whole year. This is what I'm saying. This is the whole opposite of how a house is supposed to be ran. And
instead, dad is partying it up and he's wearing a dress.
Dad is partying it up and he's wearing a dress and he's sleeping in the basement.
It's wild, man.
The baby dad is sleeping in the basement. They basically look. If this was a house, basically America's playing Monopoly and stealing the money and acting like we when we turn our heads like we don't know that they just took the money off. They're playing us like we stupid, like we dumb enough, like we don't know that it's a big old stack of money missing out the pile. The whole bunch of fake $10 bills is missing out the Monopoly towels. Like it just all of a sudden it's disappeared. Like, dude, you got the money over there in your lap. There's only three other players on the table. Where could the money went to? But this is America, and what I was say about the last caller is he's scared to say that to you. Like, nah, It's cool, you know, just like a dad would say, or you got some stand-up females that they like.
He's scared to say what to me?
He's scared. I'm gonna tell you, you got some stand-up females that's scared to say, all right, now, Johnny boy, your friend stayed the night for 2 nights. He can't come back over next week. No, instead, it's got to be a sleepover every week, Thursday through Sunday. And she don't know how to versus a dad like, all right, man, you can have him stay over your house one weekend, and then you go stay over his house one weekend. It ain't just gonna be a party at America's house every night. Like, you ain't just gonna be going in and out this house at this time of night. Every night ain't a party night. And that's what I feel like the last caller was being scared to say with you is like, nah, Nick, even if you are Anchor Baby, if you ain't, y'all should be able to come over here, but they shouldn't be adjusting everything to where it can make us vote our American way of system out if you let them overpower the system. Or if you bring too many and they got more of a demographic of whites over here statistically or blacks. They can't vote a district out just like they did in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And basically, he was scared to basically say, nah, Nick, you can stay over here. Y'all can come and leave for a little bit, but America can't never be y'all's homeland. It ain't nothing wrong with letting your friend come up to your house and kick it, but they ain't got to make their house your house and your house their house.
And that's not their house. Yeah, look, I think he was just, I don't know if he was trying to throw it in as like a little dig, or he was afraid to tell me that I was like some basically a house. What do they call him? A house Negro. He's trying to call me like he's trying to be straight up. Just hit me with the insult. Come on, because I'm living in the house. I'm fine. No, I'm playing around.
Yeah, you in the house, but check this out. It wouldn't be. I'm pretty sure if America started doing what they're doing to America, all these Americans that start going to Mexico, they wouldn't like it. They'd be saying the same thing that we saying.
Yeah.
I don't like you when you come on my house. You kick your feet up on the tables. So I mean, if I tell you don't do that, don't do that. And I'm pretty sure if I go over your house, you dang sure ain't gonna like it if I kick my feet on your table.
Interesting points, Art. Yeah, you make a lot of sense, man.
But no, I'm with something else too, though. All this money being thrown around and being wasted.
No, I said last thing. Go ahead.
I mean, all this money just being thrown around. America, whatever these liberals and Democrats are trying to do, taking all this money away from America. And if they really was trying to help all these foreigners, they would be sending a lot of these American contractors out of America and showing them how to build the infrastructure instead of trying to start coups and overthrow their government and be over there for other malicious means. That's what they should be doing, trying to help. But they don't want to do that. They have a whole artillery. A whole another different motive. I couldn't get the word out. I was trying to say it too fast. And then what they doing with the money when that money they sending over to Ukraine, that's going through to the Mexicans, man. That's how they coming up here with the phones or whatnot. And
that's true. They come up with the phones. They released a map recently.
Money, and they got money. Yep. And they just know that's where a lot of that money is going to. And just like that trucker from Texas was saying. Hey, just what I was saying, taking infrastructure from the Americans, because what he said, that they don't contract out to them if he can deliver the Mexican can deliver for $2 a rate, and they get tax breaks and all this other incentive that they ain't having to pay nothing now. How can he survive if he's got a higher rate of $5 to $6, and they charge him $2? They cutting him out.
Wow.
So this is going on across the board.
I didn't know some of that, man.
Thing.
Yeah, I didn't know some of those things. No, I was just saying I didn't know some of those things. I got to add that to the list of clear proof that you literally can fix it. That's the whole kind of point that you're making, and I agree with. Is these like the illegals, the illegal immigration, the busing, all that? It really can be fixed. Like the ability is there. What's missing is the will from the actual leaders, the elected people, both sides. Interesting stuff, Art.
And then I say, shoot, I want to be able to come to Mexico and kick my feet up, but how am I going to be able to do that if the cartels is running it and America and Mexico ain't built up to where I would want to go down there and visit because they don't got no tourist sites or nothing like that to make America want to go down there. Besides,
good luck, man. That's illegal down there to do that. So.
But go ahead. I'll say this for another. I'll let you get on or whatnot.
Appreciate
so I
it,
can
Art.
listen to you.
Call me again sometime.
Yes, sir.
Interesting stuff. Moving the wheels. All right, y'all. So I got a little video here. I mean, interesting stuff. Thanks, Art. Kind of lost my train of thought there. I had some stuff to respond to about what you were saying, but hey, look, it's crazy. We know this. Look, we know it can be fixed. We know this. It's possible. They just won't do it. Evil stuff. Let me get into this topic here, and I have to thank the team outside. I believe they just blasted me with the AC. Thank you very much. Nice team there. They must have seen me wiping the sweat off my brow. There was this boy, 13-year-old boy, who saved his classmates. Okay, look. Maybe I'm being beta. Okay? All the mama came out when I saw this video. I was impressed. Young boy, Michigan boy, 13, who took control of a school bus when driver fell unconscious. Credits not having a cell phone for the heroic act because of other children were on their devices. Anybody see this? It feels like a little bit of a morning story, right? Morning, lunchtime story. We're still doing like morning radio, no? I mean, it's not really morning anymore. We're kind of well into the day by now, but it's still kind of early enough for this type of story, kind of human interest. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Those morning shows, and they have like a panel of people. They're commenting on a cute story. Like, oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? This is a isn't that nice story, okay? And this schoolboy, there's this video, and I'm about to play it. 7th grader. What's this kid's name? Dylan Reeves, 13 years old, heroically charged in, saved this school bus after this driver, looks like a large lady who passed out. In the video, see her, it looks like she's calling out for help, realizing what's happening to her. She's like, I need to pull over, something's wrong. Ends up passing out, unable to take control of the bus. And Dylan Reeves comes in, saves the day. Calling for help here. Feeling funny. She looked like she needs help. She's saying, I gotta pull over. Reaching for the handle of some, I don't know, somewhere in front of her to control the bus. Kind of failing to grab it, faltering there. And it's right here that their arms start shaking, their head shaking, almost trying to force themselves to keep their head up, but unable to do so. Lost motor control of their body, whoever this... That might be a they, them, actually. I might not be wrong saying they. I think that's a lady. Short-haired lady. Dylan!
Look, someone call 911. Now. Someone call 911. I don't care! Someone call 911!
I don't care! Someone, little Chad Dylan. Okay, look. Don't get mad at me. Don't judge me. Maybe I'm LARPing as I'm kind of being boomery right now. Like, right on. Back in my days, we didn't have cell phones to distract us like that. Back in my day, every 13-year-old boy was heroic. Look, you can make fun of me. Okay, you can make fun of me, but you gotta love it. Okay, and one of the topics on this show and the JLP Network as well is awareness. And look, this is coming from a place of knowing how unaware I can be. And anybody relate? Awareness is like everything. And this 7th grader, he credits not having his phone, okay? And so that's kind of a nice little side point there. But he credits not having his phone and paying attention and being aware. He says, he quickly sprang into action, grabbing the wheel, pumping the brakes. The kid's screaming. He's like, Chad just tells him to shut up and call 911. Well, he didn't say shut up. I think he says, I don't care. And so apparently Dylan, he says, what else are you going to do? He told CBS, what else are you going to do when you don't have a phone? You're going to look at people. You're going to notice stuff. That's right, Dylan. It's a nice lesson from Dylan. Look, Maybe, look, you can make fun of me. It's a nice lesson. It's a nice lesson. You gotta be aware. That way you can notice stuff. You will be a noticer of stuff if you stay aware. And there's a lot of stuff we're not noticing in the macro sense, politically, generally, people in our daily lives. Daily lives, okay? There's many things just go by. We're distracted. We walk through doors, not realizing, without our mind where our body is. We walk through doors, not realizing that's what we did. Do you notice when you open up a door handle, and you walk through that door? Or were you aware that you did that? Shout out to JLP for that little exercise in awareness, but it's true. I had my AirPods in, one student explained. I was looking on my phone. Okay, maybe I'm LARPing as like a old timer here. Back in my day, we didn't have phones like that, but it's a nice story. It's cute. Here's what's not cute though. Miller. Who drinks Miller? You guys gotta chill. Do you guys know what the hold my beer meme is? Hold my beer is it's like a catchphrase meme, like an internet meme. It's a catchphrase usually said before attempting a dangerous or ill-advised stunt. Okay? You'll be online and it's like that's what the catchphrase means, right? Someone tells you, "Hey man, I don't think you should try jumping over that chasm. It seems ill-advised." The brave / maybe stupid person would say, "Hold my beer while I go and attempt that ill-advised thing you told me not to do." Well, that's the hold my beer meme. I explained the comedy right out of it. Well, that's what Miller Lite's doing, and it's not my joke. I'm stealing jokes here. But Miller Lite Beer Company is saying, "Hold my beer" to Anheuser-Busch. After that fiasco with the Dylan Mulvaney, right, on the transgender on the can, and then they nuked their sales basically for at least somewhat in a level I thought was not possible. I guess the conservative backlash. Well, Miller Lite has released a little ad, little woke ad. It sounds cringy even saying it that way. They went woke, and now they're gonna go broke. Do I have it? Where is it? Tell me I have the clip. I don't even have it. I don't even have the clip. My apologies, y'all. What a mess. Oh, but I believe I can still show it to you because we have an awesome engineer here who has set up something interesting. Let me try it. You know what, y'all? I don't have the clip. Look, I was supposed to have the clip, have it ready here so I can show you. It's kind of very necessary for this story here, but I have a way of showing you the clip anyways, I think. And I'm going to get up from this seat, and it's going to be an empty seat. Very bad for radio, very bad for, podcasting shows. My apologies, but I need to go over there and press a little button because I think it can work. Hold on. Test. Check it out, y'all. That is a desktop screen, I believe. Oh, yes. Thank you, Bill. Okay, and here is the clip. Here's the commercial, Miller Lite. Let's see if you guys can even hear it. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that you'll be able to hear it. Oh, sad. Oh, I'm not hearing it on my end. Are you guys hearing it? Are you guys hearing this commercial? Nothing. Oh, no. What a mess. All right, y'all. Well, my apologies. That was my lack of prepare. I didn't get the clip. No sound for commercial. Well, thanks, Evgeny. Did you guys hear me speaking? Were you guys able to hear me speak at least? Oh, well. The point here is, okay, let me describe what happened, okay? Because they got this commercial. And they got a new spokeswoman. And the commercial starts off with this woman coming on screen and saying, and talking about how beer hasn't always done right by women, that the first beer brewers were all women, and how did the beer industry repay women? Well, they put us in bikinis, says this person. This horrible beer industry. How did they repay us for all these millennia of female beer brewers, huh? These men, I'm kind of adding words to it. She didn't say this. I'm kind of adding a little bit to it. But she's saying, how did the beer industry repay us? They put us in bikinis, objectified us. And so what Miller's doing now, this company, Miller Lite and all that, is we're taking all the old, and she cusses, all the old-ish, and we're going to make it into good-ish. Miller Lite is buying up, and I don't know what they meant by buying up all the bad-ish and turning it into good stuff. I don't know what they mean by that. But it's like, and then they show like a number of female farmers and brewers describing what it's like for them and how they're such good beer makers, and the whole like vibe and implication there is just how evil and just how against women the beer industry and society at large. It's the subtext. The subtext of the commercial is how society at large is against women, and they went full on feminist, right? They went feminist, woke, whatever. And it's like the psyop gets weirder. It just keeps getting weirder, okay? You got to take in the timeline here. Anheuser-Busch. Let's see if I have any pics. Anheuser-Busch, right? They did Bud Light. They nuked their sales after a major backlash from their customer base. Their own customers, right? The media calls it conservative backlash, but it was their customers. And so then, seemingly not learning from the Bud Light thing, you got Miller Lite going down the same route. But it's a little bit different here. It's a little bit different here, and the details are quite interesting. Because in this case, Miller Lite has taken on women as their human shield is women, okay? Bud Light used a transgender human shield, and transgenderism and all that is still new, and enough people are outraged about it that, as much as dissent is being cracked down on, as much as the corporations, the media, and the government are pretty much behind this, less than 1% of population? And that's militantly terrorizing the public into accepting, call me they, call me she. You have to go their way. Although they use the transgender human shield, it's still there's still enough backlash to kind of fight against it, right? You could still be quite, bold about it because the lie hasn't been implanted for that long. You could still say, no, that's a man. Dylan is a man. And that's not that crazy. But Bud Light, Miller, they're a little bit smarter. Their human shield is women. And I wonder if people will be strong enough to go up against this. Because the trans stuff, like I said, kind of easier. It's more repulsive in your face. It like activates like a natural kind of repulsion and disgust or whatever. And so in that sense, it's easier to have backlash or whatever, right? But people have been weak to women, and in this modern kind of like woke feminist way for a while, okay? It's been like this for a while. Men have been weak to women in the homes. We're talking divorce rates. Women are ruling. The future is feminist. The future is feminine. Women in the workplace. abortion, Roe v. Wade. We got history on this thing, okay? And I don't know if people are going to be strong enough to have any backlash to women. You see what I'm saying here? Because it's become kind of like, for example, blacks and trans. As much as it's being propped up by, like I said, major institutions, corporations, and the media, to the point where it seems like, wow, this is it seems unstoppable. Parents don't want it, but they're still going with it. It seems unstoppable. But that's not that. I don't know. Even blacks too. Reparations, California, the reparations talk. It's ramping up. BLM, racial division, defund the police, blah blah blah. But it feels like, maybe it's because I've been on Twitter under Elon, where it's become a little bit more free. But it feels like the needle on you can't say that versus you can say that with blacks has kind of moved a little bit, just a little bit to, okay, a little bit more criticism is being allowed. And I think even with the trans stuff, I don't know if it's due to major backlash, like Bud Light and all that, but it seems a little bit more okay. It still will rile up emotions. The media will still go after you and all that, but are you following me here? It seems okay. But women, I don't know, y'all. I don't know if people are strong enough to boycott Miller Lite. To be called a misogynist, that might be worse than anything when you really think about it. You know what I'm saying? And why would a company risk this, right? Miller Lite, we're talking a pretty significant loss in revenue and sales for Anheuser-Busch, to the point where they had to retract stuff, go 180. They had to put out a commercial trying to be all patriotic and basically like, mea culpa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go trans. Please drink my beer. I don't know why Anheuser-Busch is Italian all of a sudden in my parody there. But listen, why would a company risk this after the Bud Light fiasco? You have to wonder, right? You have to wonder, why would a company risk this? And on this show, I've talked about how leftist organizations like Human Rights Campaign and other these groups, these like group defenders, these ego identity defenders, and the money behind them used to terrorize businesses and the public into complying, right? I've also talked about the evil marriage, the evil matrimony between big corporations and the government's regulatory agencies, currying up favor to enable basically monopoly building. Not unlike Soviet-era economic policies, which saw corporations doing the bidding of the government in return for favors. Things I've talked about on this show. And then you kind of start maybe start seeing why Miller would do something like this. Okay? We'll see more details. Maybe something else comes out. It's really not that important of a story, honestly. I don't really want to signal boost it too much. But this is really kind of the point for me here. Like I said on the show, we talked about those things. Specifically that evil connection of commie capitalism, as the Hake Report says, between these corporations and the government. Okay, they are not in the business of, I've heard it described like this, but it seems like they wouldn't be in the business of simply marketing, like, marketing beer or selling beer to their customer base, but it seems more like engineering their customer base. Is that too far to say? It really does seem like that. Because why would they risk their bottom line, right? We're in the free market, capitalism. These companies, they would only want to do what the American public is okay with. But if the backlash of Bud Light is showing anything, is that, well, two things, that the public does still have power. To cause Bud Light to 180 like that is very interesting. But that other companies would risk it. It really makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, okay? And meanwhile, the ideology of the government and the regime, as you some might call it, becomes clear in stories like this one, where New York City finally cracked down on a homeless man, okay? And this is a homeless man who's been just, they call it, his name is Fred Innocent. That is his actual name. This man, Fred Innocent, homeless man, this black man here in New York, just a menace from the reports, an absolute menace to the neighborhood. Numerous run-ins with police, but nothing being done. Nothing. He's just allowed to terrorize the neighborhood and be a general vagrant. But what does this homeless man do that's too far? That actually caused him to get charged with a hate crime. Yes, they threw a hate crime on this man, a black man. This homeless man, what he did was he grabbed, apparently, went to Manhattan's Upper West Side, entered an establishment, and he grabbed 2 rainbow pride flags, okay, from a table. Proceeded to defecate on one of them and use the other one to clean himself, okay? And that was too far. That was too far. Not the terrorizing, not the general vagrancy that is pretty much a blemish on the city, abusing his own body, which is not his own. Abusing, being a general negative to society, a society in which he lives in and has a responsibility to at least a little bit, right? But no, it was the pride flags. It was defecating on the pride flags. That was way too far. That was in fact a hate crime. Meanwhile, in the very same city, a group representing over 4,000 grocers in New York City has asked the legislature to pass stricter laws preventing shoplifting and wants jail time for those who assault retail employees. 4,000 grocers are basically saying, our stores literally cannot continue. We cannot continue business here. And they're begging the city to do something about it. All these things happening at the same time, I don't think it's unrelated. I think it's just simply emblematic of the ideology of those in power. They decide who's moral and who's not, and we're seeing their morality on display. You following me here? It's amazing. Activists in San Francisco, I'll probably get into this tomorrow. I'll have a clip for you. They're calling the word family is a common dog whistle on the right. That's where we are. The word family is a terrorist word. And this is what I was talking about at the opening of the show. That's been the strategy for the past few years. Making a subliminal connection between patriots, Christians, people who have a nationalistic attitude, people who are aware of race and what's going on with the changing of demographics and how the races are different. Okay, people who are showing any nationalistic attitudes towards America and that natural nationalism that's being born out of seeing your country and the state it's in, connecting all that subliminally to violence, extremism, terrorists, all that. And we see their ideology and morality on display. Social engineering, that's what I think it is. We got JC, Little Rock, Arkansas. You're on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Yolanda? I am happy you got my call.
You can't call me a house Negro on my show.
Yeah, and see, you pushing the boundaries with you saying that. I know you got First Amendment.
You are okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be funny.
First Amendment right.
Sorry, what?
You got that First Amendment right, but
not on my show. No. This is a totalitarian, authoritarian show. Okay, I'm being too silly here, JC. Please go ahead. What'd you call in about?
That's fine.
Go ahead.
What'd
you call in about?
First off, shout out to Frederick. He's cool. I enjoy Frederick. Shout out to him.
Frederick, Frederick, you hearing this, Frederick? You hearing this, right, Frederick? You should have this is a chance to reflect on your own life, Frederick. You have JC from Little Rock, Arkansas, says he appreciates you, he likes you, he's impressed by you. You should reflect on your own life, Frederick. Anyways, go ahead, JC.
And also shout out to inmate 81330 that called you, your last caller. Shout out to him too, the original Sugar Mouth.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I literally don't know what you just said, and I don't want to know. Okay, go ahead. What'd you call in about, JC?
Shout out to Art.
Yeah, that's cool. But go ahead. What'd you call in about, JC?
No, he's not. I want to. So Hake accused me of hating Bond and stuff on his clips on like the previews onto his show. So I want to say I don't hate Bond. I don't hate any of y'all. I strongly dislike y'all, but I don't hate y'all. So I will. Do
you want to shut down?
I'm sorry?
Do you want us shut down?
Yes.
But I thought, what happened to free speech and not hating Bond?
I don't hate Bond. I can dislike y'all. I don't have to hate y'all. I can strongly dislike y'all.
But
yeah, I want y'all to be
so then
shut down.
Why not just leave us alone? Why not just leave us alone? Let us do our thing. You don't like what we say, but you don't have to listen. But you don't hate us, right? You literally just said you don't hate us. We don't affect you. We don't affect you emotionally. You're not affected at all by us. So why not just move on and not care? Right? You see what I'm saying here, and just let us say what we say.
Right.
And be.
And before you had cut me off, I was going to give you a compliment.
Go ahead.
And then I'll give you an answer to that one. But is it okay if I give the compliment first?
Please.
Okay, so I will say, Nicholas, even though I very much dislike you as well, I will honestly and earnestly say you're a good sparring partner. Like, when I call you, I have to be ready to really go into the ring. You're a good sparring partner. So I will say that in a compliment to you. Now, while I won't leave you all alone at Bond, I'm not bothering y'all at Bond. Y'all don't have to take my calls. Like,
right. No, I'm not bothered by you. I'm not saying you should leave us alone. But you're saying you dislike us. Go ahead.
Y'all could ban me and stuff. It's more or less like...
Right. I could totally ban you, but you're not banned.
Now, for me, the Christianity that I believe in, the Lord Jehovah Jireh, is different than the type of Christians y'all call yourselves and believing in Jesse Peterson. So I am forever still praying for y'all, but y'all preach false messages. Y'all spread a lot of hatred. And, of course,
and when we spread this hatred, sorry to cut you off, JC, but when we spread this hatred, you say you dislike us for doing that. Can you expand a little bit on what that's like for you, your experience of dislike, what it feels like and what it is?
Yeah, okay, so in terms of, like, hearing some of the rude and horrible things that you all say from your boss onward to, like, you and everything.
Okay.
Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah. I just want you to expand on what that's like for you, your experience when you hear us, the hateful things we say. You say you dislike it. Can you describe that dislike, what it's like for you and what it feels like?
Yeah, it breaks my heart, to be honest. It breaks my heart to hear some of these negative comments, so much of how much y'all claim to be Christians, claim to be, spirited and humbled Americans, but y'all talk so badly, and you create divisiveness, you create hatred.
Does it make you feel bad? Does it make you feel bad for those people that when we talk about them like that?
It does. I'm a part of some of the people that you all talk about.
And so, when you hear us do that, that you feel for them and you feel bad for them, and that mobilizes you to call and try and counteract the hate?
Can I give you a suggestion real quick?
Please.
You should drink some hot tea. What's going on with your vocals? Sorry.
Is my voice sounding funny?
Vocals. You should drink some hot tea. What's going on with your vocals? Because I'm hearing like a frenzy with your voice, and it's worried me.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Maybe I have a dry throat. Maybe I need some tea. Maybe some tea would be nice. But did you hear what I said?
Y'all could call.
You're kind of breaking up, actually, JC. Maybe it's on your end. You're breaking up for me.
Hello?
Hey, JC, you breaking up. You're breaking up.
Oh.
I think you're back now. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, going back to your original point, yeah, it breaks my heart to hear hatred, to hear hatred. You all spread hatred in this world. You all have a national podcast, and y'all could say whatever you want to say, and you all choose to spread hatred. You all choose to be mean and evil. And I don't know what made it in your lives where you would choose the side of evil instead of the side of saying things that are right.
So you dislike, okay, I got you. So your dislike is rooted in us. Like you dislike, it's not just what we're saying, you dislike us.
Yeah, I strongly dislike y'all.
Interesting. And you say that's not hate.
It's not. I still pray for you. I literally, when I was asking
how
you
is
about
that
your
not,
boy.
how is that not hate? Help me understand.
Okay, well,
it sounds like
example, when I was just hearing like that fragilness in your voice, I got more concerned that it was like something more than like.
But hateful people do that all the time. Hateful people do nice things all the time. That doesn't prove anything.
Hateful people do nice things all the time. Really? I don't know about that, sir.
Do you think that's do you think that's like an incredulous statement or something? You don't think
it's
nice
not
people
incredulous, it's just
you don't think hateful people do nice things? Think about you. Think about you. You say you don't hate us, but I say you hate us, and here you are doing a nice thing. Maybe there's a better example out there. For example,
you think
hold on, I'm giving you an example of a hateful person who does nice things. Just think about, for example, like an angry, like an angry parent who's pretty mean, maybe even hits their kid or whatever, but gives them a little bit of candy. It's nice. It's not good. It's not moral, but it's nice. Like hateful people do nice things. You understand that point, right?
That just sounds like emotional manipulation to me.
Exactly. Bingo. So what do you think? Hey, Nick, you should drink some tea. You hateful Yolanda person is. What do you think that is? Emotional manipulation. It's called a hateful person doing nice things.
Oh, please. I'm not doing that because I'm a hateful person. I'm doing that because I was actually concerned and I actually have a heart. And I would like you all to change.
You know what, JC? I will take that seriously. I don't know your heart, so thank you.
Do y'all think y'all obviously think that I hate y'all. Do y'all hate me?
No, I don't hate you, man. I somewhat enjoy if it doesn't go off topic or anything, like I enjoy our talks. You're not banned on my show. I take your calls. I really have no issue with you. In fact, I enjoy your calls because
I'm going to get into the gossip soon one day. But yeah.
Okay. Now you're banned. Nate, California. Thanks for your call.
Yo, hold on, Nick. Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Nate? Coming a little funny, but I think it might be clearer now. Go ahead.
Mexican. I got a couple.
Ooh, sorry, man. The phone's a little funny.
Nick, can you hear me?
Let's keep trying. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, Nick. Okay. All right. I've got some Mexicans out there cleaning my yard. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Out there doing the garden, and so I just needed a minute to get away. But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the social programs that they have down here in like Orange.
You said in Orange County? Nate, man, I wish I could take a call, but it's just breaking up way too much. Sorry, Nate. Gotta move on here. Call me tomorrow, y'all. That's the show. Look, I had a blast. Good show, y'all. I appreciate you guys being with me. We're gonna do this again tomorrow, noon. American Anchor Baby, as well as Joel Friday. We love Joel Friday. You don't want to miss it. If you haven't caught it yet, you should. And that's the show, y'all. Look, make sure you're following and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow. What else here? Am I missing anything else? Let me check this real quick. Make sure I've shouted all your support. Oh, wow. In fact, I have some super chats here. Renesio says, got to listen for a bit, missed the lineup. He gives a little peace sign and he says, Nickas. Right on, Renesio. Thank you for your super chat. Another one from Lord Bibby says, shout out to Artie Art. He says, them Dorito boys be something else. That's true. And Chris with that super chat, no message. Thank you for your support. And another one from DH says, on Friday's stream, making a RuneScape account. RuneScape is for alphas. World of Warcraft is for betas. Don't be beta. DH loves playing RuneScape. You can waste a lot of time in that too, man. It's just another fantasy digital world that's sucking up your energy. Well, everything in moderation, right? Or some things, not everything. Anyways, guys, appreciate it. Hit me up tomorrow. We'll do this again. Otherwise, take care. It's been nice. Peace.